Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the new tri-state listing agreement. And there have been a few changes that I wanted to go over and make sure everyone is aware of. So please follow along. I'm not going to go through the whole document, just mostly the changes. So first page has stayed the same. There are not a lot of changes there. Under duties and responsibilities of broker that start on page 1 and go to page 2, we have added language specific for Nebraska. As a result of a Nebraska audit, they wanted us to change some of our language there, which we have done. And below that talks about the purpose of agency and the listing agreement. As a reminder, the active MLS listing date is different than the signing date. And the reason for that is you may sign an agreement before it goes into the MLS. Additionally, there will be coming soon in our Northwest Iowa MLS in the near future. And so that is something to be mindful of. Big change. This is the biggest change on the listing agreement. Professional service fee. Listing broker and seller acknowledge there are no standard compensation rates, and the compensation to be set in this agreement is fully negotiable and not set by law or practice. Right here, seller will pay listing broker. That's the listing agent and their firm. That's us. A professional service fee of, and this is where you will insert what you are being paid at the time of close. This has nothing to do with the buyer agent. We're going to talk about why here in a second. This talks about how you earn your money, and the next page continues on to discuss the. This is where we have the transaction compliance compensation at the time of closing. This is $250. This is not negotiable. There are exemptions. If you have questions, please look at the compliance compensation policy. Letter C on page 2. This is a big change. Buyer brokerage representation fee. Buyer's broker may negotiate seller paid commission for buyer's agency fees at the time of an offer. Seller may choose to cooperate at seller's sole discretion at that time. I want to pause right there. So what this means is we are not including buyer agent compensation at the time of listing. It will be negotiated during the sale. Why is that? This is to get in alignment with the post NAR settlement, the spirit of the law, which is that at the time of listing, we are not hiring a buyer's agent. The buyer's agent is hired by a buyer, and their compensation is negotiated with their client. That said, even though we are not putting buyer agent compensation in the agreement, we are stating that it may be negotiated at the time of offer. And I would encourage you, when you are working a net sheet with your sellers, to still include what is likely going to be the ask of a buyer's agent and remind them that it is negotiable. The second part of this, listing broker has no obligation to show the property to unrepresented buyers. Now, it doesn't say you cannot or will not. It says you have no obligation to. And I want to talk about this for a second. Now, in Iowa, it is not legal for us to write an offer for an unrepresented buyer. That is considered specific assistance. They would need an attorney to draw up their contract, or they would need to write up their own on their own forms. And so the reason behind this is, and we actually have seen this recently, where a listing agent will get a call and someone will say, hey, I am unrepresented. I want you to show me your listing, which is it is perfectly legal to show an unrepresented buyer of property. The challenge often is they say they're unrepresented. The listing agent shows the house, and then a buyer's agent who has never seen the property swoops in, writes an offer, and gets paid. And so this allows you to state that you will not show a buyer that is unrepresented the property. Now, you can if you choose to, and that is at your discretion. And that is also a conversation to be had with your sellers. Now, if an unrepresented buyer says, show me the house, and you don't want to, advise them to either get representation from someone that can help them, or to come to an open house. The thing about this is we've seen a lot of deals where if a buyer says, hey, I'm unrepresented, I don't want your help, but I want you to open the door for me, they're basically telling you, I don't respect you or what you do, and I don't value your time, and I want you to work for free. And so this permits you to not do that and give them other advice. The other thing that's in here, again, this is not new. Compensation between a listing broker and buyer broker is negotiable on a real estate in a transaction. Other than that, the rest of it is pretty standard, no major changes. No real changes, actually. We have included on the last page additional appointed agent with client's approval, broker appoints, and this is just for an example. My name is here. As additional appointed agent for the client, the appointed agent shall be the client's agent beginning such and such a date. And so if you are on a team, if you have a showing assistant, please make sure that you have an additional appointed agent on your agreement. If you have any questions about the updates to the listing agreement, please let me know. Thanks.